The Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our ServiceNow series, where we interview the best and brightest of the industry to share their story, advice, and views on the exciting world of ServiceNow and digital transformation.
You're listening to the Alldus podcast, the ServiceNow series. Our guest today is Jillian Hall-Robinson. Jillian is the Vice President of the ServiceNow Practice at Milestone Technologies. Jillian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John Paul, for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Let's jump straight in. Let's start with yourself, please. Could you give us an overview of your background in technology and what your journey has been like from where you got started, some of the roles you've held along the way, and what's led you to where you are today as the VP of ServiceNow Practice for Milestone?
Certainly. So my journey started in actually 2008. Previous to getting into IT, I was actually a construction project manager. I'd been raised around the construction and the oil field industry in Colorado. I just followed suit with what my family's business was. And I moved to Arizona in 2001 to chase that dream. And as we all know, the construction and real estate market crashed in 2008. And I found myself unemployed and looking for a career avenue that was not going to put me in that place ever again. And I got the opportunity to actually be an onboarding specialist for an organization called CDI, who is a recruiting firm that does majority recruiting for IBM. And started an onboarding there and worked my way up into a senior technical recruiter. And then I got an opportunity from an organization in Tempe, Arizona called Insight Enterprises to become a resource manager, which was basically staffing individuals on the projects that they were implementing and delivering for their customers. And I actually started in the Microsoft and Cisco contact center space. So that was where I was supporting the teams with resource management skills. And in 2012, I got a call from an organization named ServiceNow. That they were looking to develop their own resource management team and expand it in their platform, and was looking for somebody that had that background. And I had been doing resource management at Insight for roughly about 2.5, 3 years. Didn't know much about ServiceNow, but really liked the conversations, liked the product as I had the conversations with the individuals at ServiceNow. So I took the opportunity. And for about a year, I was the West Coast resource manager at ServiceNow, but decided I really, because of the product and how much I loved it and how much it gave back to organizations when it came to streamlining their service management needs, that I really wanted to get deeper into the whole premise and strategy and alignment to what the product could do in a larger scale. So I knew, not being a technical person, not being a coder, not being an architect, and not really being process aligned, that I was going to have to go back to my roots of project management to really learn more about ServiceNow. So I applied for a role as an engagement manager at ServiceNow in the professional services organization and was awarded that role and started to deliver projects. And I spent about 2 years at ServiceNow delivering PS projects for them in the field, and then really desired to get into leadership, not only because I believed so much in the ServiceNow platform and the product, but also because I was a woman and this was a platform where I could make change and help other women realize their dreams of getting into IT, being monumental in IT, being foundational in IT. I went into the partner ecosystem in 2017, 2018 timeframe as a business ops manager. And then I just progressively have worked my way up into service delivery manager, global professional services director. And then in June of this year was given the opportunity to take over the ServiceNow practice as the VP of ServiceNow here at Milestone. I joined Milestone 3 years ago, actually, as the emerging program director for Covestic. They actually hired me to help them build their offshore and nearshore presence because they were being acquired by Milestone, and they knew that they were going to need that global presence because they were being acquired by a global organization. So I started here as the emerging programs director, built those programs, and then just worked my way into the global professional services director and then VP. So I now currently manage the entire ServiceNow practice here at Milestone.
Thank you so much for sharing that super cool journey, and great to learn about the origins of it, where you just made that career pivot and you knew you wanted something more stable, and then obviously what's led you to where you are now in a senior leadership position. So we'll get back to why going into leadership was important to you, because I know you touched on it briefly there, but let's set the stage for what you're doing currently. First of all, tell us all about Milestone, who you are, what you do, mission of the business, and then let's talk about your responsibility of overseeing the ServiceNow practice.
Milestone historically has been a managed service provider. So they have a very large book of business where they manage organizations or, corporate IT organizations, service desk capabilities and infrastructure and data center and multiple different IT functions for our many customers. And Milestone realized that about 90% of their customer base was on the ServiceNow platform. That was really where their drive came to incorporate a ServiceNow practice into what they were already successfully doing as a managed service provider. So that is really kind of what Milestone had done prior to acquiring Covestic. To this point, they've acquired a couple of other companies, Covestic being one for our ServiceNow capabilities, but also SMCI, which is a staffing firm, in order to be able to substantiate what they needed to do when it came to hiring full-time employees and not just contractors and other things. And then they recently acquired a organization out of India called Suyati that actually does Salesforce and Microsoft professional services. So they're really revolutionizing themselves to be more than just that managed service provider and be a real powerhouse within the IT industry and align with some of the competitors that we have like Accenture and Deloitte and Wipro and the big five. We're definitely not trying to be those individuals, but we're trying to offer just as great of a product to our customers as they can get from those big five organizations. Yeah.
So let's talk about the customers. Your role, obviously, you're overseeing the operational side, the delivery side, and I know you work in conjunction with the sales team to make sure that the customers are understanding the breadth of what you can support. And Absolutely. Given Milestone works across multiple industries, there's a wide variety of customers in there. Are there any recent projects or recent customer stories that you could share with us that would demonstrate the level of impact Milestone is having, the type of success you're having with your customers, and just how it's working from first conversation to successful implementations?
So really at our core, Milestone has always been about process. We really believe that regardless of what we're implementing when it comes to a specific tool, so tool agnostically, we've always been at our core really about process. If you develop the right process, you have the right process, you optimize the right process, the tools that you put them in are important, but that process is really what is going to lead to customer success. Because if you have a bad process, regardless of what tool you put it into, you're devaluing that tool also. So that's always been our bread and butter, is making sure that process alignment is huge when we're looking at the implementations, and is really that foundation and that baseline of what we're going to do for our customers in the organizations to set them up for success. We recently embarked in actually I don't want to say a reset, but it really was a reset. We have a large retail organization that we work with that had 2 ServiceNow instances. One of them was immensely customized, had a lot of technical debt, was becoming, for lack of a better term, clunky. And so we're actually going live in 6 days with them on a net new ServiceNow platform, where we have completely evaluated all their processes, helped them optimize and streamline those, and then rebuilt those processes into a net new greenfield ServiceNow instance to get them back to green or back to basics, to where they're not operationally spending as much time as they were for just maintenance on their ServiceNow instance and upgrades and enhancements and those kind of things, because there's always that upstream and downstream effect of technical debt when you have all that customization. So that's really what we pride ourselves on here at Milestone, is one, optimizing the efficiencies of our customers, making sure that they're really getting their return on investment within the ServiceNow platform, road mapping with them to put them on a maturation plan that not only scales for them on what they're trying to accomplish, but also gives them budgetary parameters so that they know what their spend is going to be and what their return on investment is going to be. And so that is what we really hang our hats on here, is our partnerships with our customers. We don't want to just be an implementer. We want to help you on your path within ServiceNow and any other aspect that you're working with Milestone, so that we're building that partnership and it's not just a one-off implementation aspect of our relationship.
Makes absolute sense. I want to switch directions slightly now, Jillian, and talk a little bit about the team that you're working with at Milestone, specifically the ServiceNow Practice. You mentioned part of your journey to the role that you had was actually joining Covestic as they were about to be acquired, the goal being getting you into a senior position. That's been a transition since, I think, from what I can see here, is like mid 2001. Talk to us about the evolution of the ServiceNow Practice since joining Covestic, the growth, and if we were to look behind the scenes, help us visualize the current makeup of your broader ServiceNow org, from the number of people, the specific breakdown, whether you're focused on module or industry. How does it look day to day?
I joined Covestic in 2021, and then obviously I'm still here, but the makeup when I joined, we were roughly around 30 to 35 individuals within the ServiceNow practice, and we're currently 53 resources. We were at our highest point in late 2022, early 2023, about 100 resources. We all know what has transpired economically and socially over the last 2 years that has led to some of the constraints. And obviously, we've been impacted by the economy and just the overall market when it comes to IT spend. But we have a plan in place to grow organically. So I say that in the capacity that a lot of ServiceNow partners, and this is not a disparaging comment in any ways, but they try to do everything within the ServiceNow stack. They want to be everything to the customers that they do have, and that is fantastic. But we at Milestone focus on the areas where we have found our most success. So we play in the ITX space, we play in the CSM, LSD, HR space, SPM, and SecOps. And those are really the areas that we don't want to say pigeonhole, but those are the areas that we really spend a majority of our time marketing ourselves, aligning ourselves within the practice areas to set ourselves up for the most success. We have individuals that are trained across the entire platform. I have 2 certified technical architects. We have more going through the program right now. We're looking at doing certified master architects next year. So we're positioning ourselves to make sure that we're really good at the things that we want to be really good at, and that we'll be opportunistic on the other opportunities that come forward for us. We have an LSD, or legal service delivery, offering on the store right now. It is something that we have implemented multiple times for multiple customers and are really proud of that. We also are getting ready to go to market with a couple of other apps and store aspects of things, one around higher education and another around a retail custom app that we have developed and designed for some needs that we've come across as we've worked with some of our retail customers. So we don't necessarily try to put ourselves in a industry vertical. We are putting ourselves more in a specialized platform vertical of these are the areas that we're really good at, and those are the areas that we want to play in. We've built our practice, trained our people, and continue to enhance the experience of our individuals in those particular areas without really trying to be everything to everybody.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
Looking ahead now, Gillian, when you look at particularly the near-term roadmap, the next 1 to 2 years, given all of the investments Milestone has made in the ServiceNow practice, the success you're having, the expansion of the group, the investment in your people, when you look at the opportunity that's in front of you the next 1 to 2 years, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to?
So I'm excited about really expanding our global footprint. We're working on expanding what we do staffing wise and staffing in the capacity of individuals on our ServiceNow staff, not the recruiting or those kind of things in some of our other regions. Like we have a large portion of our staff is US based. We do have staff in Mexico, we have staff in India, we have staff in the Philippines. So we're really looking at maturing and growing those locations in order to give that economic relief to our customers and that cost relief to our customers, but also continue to help develop the ServiceNow ecosystem. One of the biggest challenges within the ServiceNow ecosystem is 100% the availability of talent. I don't have to tell you that. You work for a ServiceNow staffing agency. So we are not only expanding in those areas, but when we were Covestic, had the privilege to be part of the Skill Bridge program, which was training individuals that were coming out of military service to be ServiceNow developers. So we're going one step further in that and really working with some colleges and universities and technical schools in the regions where we have identified we want to grow to really hire new out of school individuals and train them how to be ServiceNow sysadmins, how to be ServiceNow developers, and really start to develop our own talent, and then also give back to the ecosystem in the capacity that we are developing more talent. And I know there's a lot of partners that are doing this, but we feel that it's important that we do it also because the demand is just going up. With all the emergence of Gen AI and all the additional workflow capabilities that ServiceNow has, like I stated earlier, 90% of our managed services customers are on the ServiceNow platform. And so we know that we need to make a big step forward in creating our own ServiceNow talent, making sure they're properly certified, making sure that they're the quality of consultants that we need in order to help our customers grow and become digitally innovated in the capacity that they need to address the emerging aspects of our industry. It's ever changing. Every day is a new thing. Over the last 2 days, we've seen a worldwide outage of Verizon and a worldwide outage of Workday. And these are common problems that we're going to continue to see if we're not evolving our talent to address the risks and the security challenges and the hacker aspect of things. So we're really taking that stance at Milestone to be on the cusp of all of the Gen AI aspects of things and all of the operationally efficient aspects of what you can do within an IT industry. And we want to make sure that we're doing that from the moment that we bring somebody on board in an entry-level position and giving them the best tools to be the best professional that they can be in the space that they're working in.
Final question from me, Gillian. I think you've pretty much already answered it with how you've described the environment at Milestone and the investments in its people. But I always like to finish on a message to potential future employees. Given the competitive nature of the space, which you've touched on, when you're speaking to people about Milestone and the ServiceNow practice, what is it that you tell them to highlight reasons why they should join Milestone over some of the other great companies? Why should they get excited to work at Milestone over some of the other partners and end users?
Yeah, it's a great question. And realistically, I always start with the tenure of our people. I have multiple resources in the ServiceNow practice that have been here for 10, 12, 14 years. Many of them have been here since Covestic, now Milestone, started their ServiceNow practice, which was 14 years ago, before I was even employed here. And really, as I was just starting my ServiceNow career. And to me, for individuals to stay with a professional services organization for that long of a period of time speaks volumes around the leadership and the direction that the organization is going. We all know that people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad leaders. And I think that we have a fantastic group of leaders, not only within the ServiceNow practice, but also within Milestone holistically. We have practice directors within the ServiceNow practice that are on the front lines with our people every day. And these aren't leaders that were just career leaders. These are individuals that were in the field, similar to how I built my career. They were business process consultants, they were technical consultants, and then solution architects, so that they know day to day the challenges that our people are facing. When our field engineers and our engagement managers and our BPCs have challenges that they come across, their leadership team has been there. They can help them through that process. We can sit down and put together a plan, a back to green plan or whatever is required for our customers. And they know that they're getting real world advice on what they can do to be successful. We put them on a career path. The moment that we hire somebody at Milestone, they're put on a career path of, okay, you came in as a certified sysadmin. You want to eventually be an architect. Here's all the things that you have to do. Here's all the training that you have to do. So we give them a very clear path forward on being successful and what their opportunities are within the organization. And then they're given those opportunities on a quarterly basis. We do quarterly MBOs where individuals give their managers what they're going to do to improve themselves within the ServiceNow practice on a quarterly basis. So we're continuing to invest in our greatest asset, which is our people. Without our people, we can't do the things that we can do. I can't be a VP of a successful ServiceNow practice without all of the individuals and all the sums of the part that are the practice, all the people that I work with, all the leaders, our sales team, my support staff, and my leadership from up higher within Milestone. So realistically, as you stated, we are a people-first organization. We've been great places to work over the last 4 years, and we'll continue to do that. So it 100% comes down to putting your people first, knowing that they're going to have the desire to grow and to learn new things and be on the cutting edge of the things that we are implementing. And we're all in the IT industry. We know what is satisfying to us, and that is the next tool that is going to make the difference in somebody else's life, the proper implementation to make sure that our customer does, not just in the short term, but in the long term. And we give our consultants at Milestone that ability to be trusted advisors to our customers, to be the face that our customers rely on to give them the guidance that they need to be successful in their ServiceNow journey and their ServiceNow maturity. We keep our people properly trained. We keep them on the cusp of everything that's coming out. We are a release tester for ServiceNow and have been for many years. And what I mean by that is we get to test the new releases along with 4 other partners before they hit GA. We just finished up Xanadu testing a couple of weeks ago before they released it to the general public. And we get to go through, we get to find the bugs, we get to find the new technology, which really keeps us on the leading edge of being able to advise on how they can be successful in future releases based upon what we know is coming out. We still respect the parameters that come with the new releases, but we also get the ability to say, okay, Mr. Customer, we know you want XYZ, but we really think in order for you to stay out of the box, you wait, because that's coming available in the future releases. All of the sum of what we are doing as an organization leads us to being able to retain and attract the talent, being on the leading edge of everything we're doing, making sure that we're investing in our people and making sure that our people know that they're valued, which is what I do every day in and day out as the VP over this practice.
Jillian, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us. We appreciate you sharing your background and your own journey and the evolution of your role into now leadership, and a great insight into the ServiceNow practice at Milestone, the investments that you're making in your people, and the tremendous opportunity that exists for career growth. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at Milestone the very best of luck in the months and years ahead, and look forward to having you back on the podcast again in the very near future.
My pleasure, John Paul, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.